Israeli Prime Minister Bенјамин Нетанијаху. They're shown here outside the White House. The Prime Minister is on a 2-day visit to Washington, during which he'll address a joint meeting of Congress later today. Their joint news conference lasts 40 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel.
Good afternoon. Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm very glad to welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to the White House. This is his first visit since taking office, and it gave me an opportunity to congratulate him on his victory in the election in May. Israel has changed governments, but as I told the Prime Minister, the historic relationship between the United States and Israel has not and will not change. The bonds that unite us are as strong as ever today. I am proud that our relationship is broader, deeper, and more firmly rooted than at any time in Israel's history, and I am determined that it should remain so. The Prime Minister and I had a good talk on many issues. At the heart of our discussions was the question of how to bring a comprehensive peace that is secure and lasting to the Middle East. I told the Prime Minister that I am committed to maintaining the progress that has been made toward that goal, and he told me the Israeli people had given him a mandate to make peace with security, a peace that will bring at each stage a growing sense of security for the people of Israel and all the people of the Middle East. The Prime Minister and his Arab partners can count on the full support of the United States towards that end. Peace that we seek is not an abstraction. It must bring security, dignity, and a better life for Arabs and Israelis alike. Above all, peace and security must be indivisible, because peace without security is impossible, and true security without peace cannot be achieved. I was encouraged with the Prime Minister's statement that he will be working closely with the Palestinian Authority on full implementations by both sides of the Declaration of Principles in the interim agreement and on easing economic conditions on the Palestinians. We also agreed on the importance of negotiations with the Syrians. We both believe it is vital to continue to bring the nations of the Middle East together through regional initiatives and through institutions, especially economic ones, such as this fall's Cairo Economic Summit. We spoke at length about the threat posed to our mutual interests by terrorism. After the brutal attack on Iran, Americans understand better than ever that, as the Prime Minister himself has written, free societies must mobilize their resources, their ingenuity, and their will to wipe out this evil from our midst. I am pleased, therefore, to announce that we have agreed that the first meeting of the U.S.-Israel Counterterrorism Group, created this past spring, will take place this month. Our cooperation will be a key element in the global effort to defeat terrorism, an effort America has led at Sharm el-Sheikh and the G7 conference. We're also stepping up our joint efforts against the threat posed to Israel by missile proliferation. The United States has agreed to provide shared early warning information in Israel beginning before the end of this year. Let me close by repeating something that I said to the Prime Minister in one of our earliest conversations in 1992. I said then I didn't believe the United States could make peace on behalf of Israel, that only Israel and its neighbors could make these decisions through direct negotiations. I felt that our contribution should be to minimize the risks to Israel of making peace so that Israel could have the confidence necessary to make a peace that will last. I still believe that. That is why our commitment to Israel's security remains rock solid. why we'll continue to do whatever is necessary to ensure Israel's qualitative edge, why Israelis and no one else will ultimately have to decide the terms upon which Israel will make peace. Those who would try to drive a wedge between Israel and the United States will not succeed. We will strengthen the bonds between us, bonds that have helped to make possible the dramatic changes in the Middle East since 1992. Now Israel is no longer alone in the region. Courageous Arab leaders have put aside decades of hostility and suspicion to extend the hand of partnership and peace. Just as we stand by Israel, so we will also stand with those in the Arab world who seek peace. I am confident that those who join us in the search for peace will see that they have made the right choice. Mr. Prime Minister.
Mr. Arafat.
You asked that we discuss Mr. Arafat?
Are you willing to meet with Mr. Arafat? Do you plan to meet with Mr. Arafat soon?
Well, as you know, we have ongoing contacts with Mr. Arafat and with the Palestinian Authority. I have my own representatives who have been meeting with him on a regular basis. And we'll expand these contacts both in frequency and in the level of the personnel involved. I said that if I deem it necessary for peace or for the interest of Israel to meet Arafat, I wouldn't rule it out, and I have not changed my position.
You asked what I said to the Prime Minister. I said, first of all, I thought it was very important that there be a reaffirmation of the commitments that Israel has made in Oslo I and Oslo II and all the accords that were signed. Second, that I thought that there should be an attempt to continue the comprehensive peace process. That it was essential to keep working with the Palestinians. There should be an attempt to re-engage Syria, to work on the problem of Lebanon. You ask if I thought that the Prime Minister would pursue the peace process with vigor. The answer to that is I believe that he will. There was an election in Israel. The Israeli people made a decision. Part of that decision was to take a different approach to the peace process from this point forward, at least somewhat different. Israel is a democracy. They made that decision. The Prime Minister has very strong views. But I think if you look at the mandate that he received, and he's better to talk about it than I am, but I believe that the tide of history cannot be turned, and that going back, and I've said this to the Arab leaders very firmly before the last summit in Cairo, it would be a bad mistake. I think that we have to find a way for these parties to make their own peace. None of us from the outside can impose it on them. None of us should seek to impose it on them. The interest of the United States is to reduce the risk for peace undertaken by the peacemakers. But I believe that we need to keep the tide of history going, because I don't believe there can be ultimately final security for the people of Israel without a resolution of the peace process that's positive. So I believe that the process will go forward, and I think we're going to have necessarily a period of adjustment, and those of us who care about it need to try to minimize the negative and maximize the positive and get through it as well as possible.
Well, I have said that I'm prepared to negotiate with President Assad of Syria on peace, and I can tell you that the first item on my agenda would be the cessation of all terrorist attacks from Syrian-controlled areas in Lebanon via Hezbollah, or for that matter, other terrorist attacks from groups based in Syria. And I think it's only right. I think that it's peculiar to have peace talks that are progressing while you have a terror campaign parallel to it. So it's the cessation of hostilities usually precedes all peace negotiations. In fact, I'm hard-pressed to find exceptions in modern history. And if there are exceptions, we shouldn't follow the exception. We should follow the rule. This is what I would do. And I think that this would be conducive to building trust that is badly needed between Israel and Syria in order to move forward with the negotiations on much more sensitive issues.
I would make 2 points very quickly. First, the United States is opposed to terrorism as practiced by anybody, anywhere. And our concerns with that have been an impediment in the improvement of our relations with Syria, which we have sought on its own merits and is a way to aid peace in the Middle East. We have an uncompromising position on terrorism, and we will maintain it, even if we have to pay for it from time to time. Secondly, I do intend to communicate with President Assad. I have to decide. You're the first person that asked me about a telephone call, so it hadn't occurred to me one way or the other. It just sort of happened before. But we stay in regular contact about the peace process, and I have before, and I will again on the basis of this meeting, reaffirm my belief that he should maintain contacts with Israel and discuss peace without preconditions. Well, first of all, when we have found pretty good results when we've worked closely with the Palestinians in getting increased compliance, and I think the absence of large terrorist attacks in Gaza and the West Bank is evidence of their increased capacity, which is different from their will. They're not only their increased will, but their increased capacity to comply with the terms of the agreements which bind them as well as Israel. So I don't believe that I should talk about what I would do if it's obvious that they had abandoned any attempt to comply with their obligations, when it seems to me that at least in the areas where we've been principally concerned, they have been willing to do more, and they have been increasingly able to do more. So I want to focus on the ability of Mr. Arafat to succeed in holding up his end of the bargain, and if there comes a time when it's obvious they have no intention of doing that, then I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I don't think it needed that much explaining. If there's one thing I've learned in years of dealing with Mr. Netanyahu, he's a very bright man. Sometimes I wish I could explain things that don't need much explaining. The important thing is...
Mr. President, we didn't discuss the election results.
We didn't discuss it at all. That's right. I agree with the Prime Minister's statement. I think that the capacity of the Israeli economy to grow because of the talents and the diversity of its people, the strength of its people, is virtually unlimited. I think it will really take off in the years ahead. I think we should be supportive of that process. And there may come a time when the aid is no longer needed and no longer sought. But I don't believe that this is the time to do anything to destabilize where we are. We need to focus on our goals in the Middle East, including greater economic prosperity in Israel and for our Arab supporters of the peace process as well.